Well, hey guys, and how's it going? It's Jess. So it's been a while since I've been on here making a video for you, but I do want to get back to making regular videos. For most of you know, I've been working really hard on the deep dive course. It is almost finished, which is mean it's your last chance to get it in pre-sale, but it is coming out great, putting lots and lots of videos and content and questions onto that. So I haven't been making as many videos, but the good news is there are going to be more videos coming, and it is going to be a video per week again once we get into 2023. And I have lots more events that I'll be telling you guys about. I'll be doing some weekly events and weekly videos. So stay tuned for that. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about backwards chaining with leaps ahead. This is something that is pretty simple, but a lot of people get confused. So you're going to see some slides that I made and not me in a second, but I just wanted to come on and say hi. And I'm going to go through everything you need to know about backwards chaining with leaps ahead in order to get a question correct about this topic on your exam. Okay, guys, so let's go through backwards chaining with leaps ahead. So it is really the exact same thing as backwards chaining. The difference is you're going to skip the steps the learner already knows. Now, anytime you're using forwards chaining or backwards chaining, it takes a really long time to teach a skill. So you're really only going to do these chaining procedures if you absolutely have to. Now, an alternative to doing backwards chaining or forwards chaining would be total task presentation. Now, you're going to do a total task presentation when you really don't need to teach the steps individually. Typically, this is going to be for children that can pick up skills easily, and you think you can really just model the skill and teach it as you go. If a child can't do that, the next best thing to make it take less time would be to use backwards chaining with leaps ahead. This is when you're going to, again, you're going to use backwards chaining so they will get that intensive training on the steps they don't know, but you're going to skip the steps, teaching the steps they already do know, and that's going to make it take a little less time than if you did traditional backwards chaining. So how do you use backwards chaining with leaps ahead? The first thing, just like any other chaining procedure, you're going to write out a behavior chain. So I wrote one out here for making the bed, and we're going to use this example for the rest of the slides. So the second thing you're going to do is you're going to assess which steps the learner already knows how to do. And we know when we're doing chaining, there's two ways we can assess the present performance of our learner: to use a single opportunity probe or multiple opportunity probe. With the single opportunity probe, as soon as they make a mistake, we assume they can't do the chain. We stop giving them any opportunities. We don't even have them finish the chain. And then we just go ahead and teach it. With the multiple opportunity probe, we're going to let them try every step. So if they struggle on a step, we just help them and then let them try the next step independently. So obviously, in order to know which steps the learner knows how to do and doesn't know how to do, you're going to have to use a multiple opportunity probe if you're going to think about using backward chaining with leaps ahead. So here I have the learner could not put on the fitted sheet. I can't either, but could not put on the top sheet. He was able to put the blanket on. He could not put the pillow in the pillowcases, and he could put the pillow on the bed. Okay, so now that you know what steps that the learner knows how to do, you're going to teach the steps using backwards chaining still individually, but you're going to skip the steps the learner already knew. So let me show you what that looks like. So here we have the results of our assessment, right? He was able to do he wasn't able to do steps 1, 2, or 4, but he could do steps 3 and 5. So here we're going to see that step 1 is going to be to teach step 4 and 5. So we still are using backwards chaining. So we're going to still start at the end, but we don't need to teach step 5 individually as its own step because they already know how to do that. So we're going to skip teaching 5 individually. We're going to start with the first thing the learner couldn't do, which is to put the pillow in the pillowcase. So we're going to start with steps 4 and 5. Now, once they have that mastered, they meet whatever set mastery criteria you have for that step, you're going to go introduce the next part of it here. But again, they knew how to put the blanket on the bed, so we don't need to teach step 3 individually. So now we're going to do step 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then they didn't know. So again, once they meet mastery criteria for that, we're going to go to step 3, which would be to do all 5 steps at once. So if you can see, we're still going backwards. We're still doing backwards chaining, but we're not going to be teaching steps 3 and teaching steps 5 individually because the learner already knew how to do that. And the benefit of that is, again, to save time. Now, sometimes if the learner knows how to do the majority of steps in a behavior chain, you might just want to use total task presentation. Again, for backwards chaining with leaps ahead, there would be some sort of reason that you still want to teach each step that they are struggling with in a more intensive way. So let's look at what a question may look like if you get a question about backwards chaining with leaps ahead. Talia is teaching Victor to complete a task analysis to wash his dog Stella. The steps of the task analysis are to 1, wet Stella, 2, scrub Stella with shampoo, 3, rinse Stella, 4, put conditioner on Stella, 5, brush Stella, 6, rinse Stella, 7, dry Stella off. When probing what steps Victor could complete, she found he already knew how to perform steps 1, 3, 6, and 7, but found that steps 2, 4, and 5 were very difficult for Victor. What would be the best strategy to teach Victor to watch Stella? A, backwards chaining, B, forwards chaining, C, total task presentation, and D, backwards chaining with leaps ahead. Well, here we see he already knows how to do 1, 3, 6, and 7. So we probably don't need to use an intervention as intensive as backwards chaining or forward chaining. So we can probably choose between total task presentation and backwards chaining with leaps ahead. But here it tells us that steps 2, 4, and 5 were very difficult for Victor. Since they were very difficult for Victor, we probably want to use backwards chaining with leaps ahead because we'll still be teaching 2, 4, and 5 in a more intensive approach, right? And just skipping teaching individually steps 1, 3, 6, and 7. So we still would want to, when steps are very difficult, the difference here between total task presentation is we would be trying to teach everything at once. So if 2, 4, and 5 were all 3 of them were really difficult, then Victor is going to have to learn how to do 3 really difficult things at once, as opposed to backwards chaining with leaps ahead, where he's only ever learning how to do 2, 4, and 5. We're teaching each one of those individually. So that's the difference for backwards chaining and with leaps ahead and total task presentation. I do often get questions on why you would use each one of those and what the difference is. So I really hope this video has helped to clarify that. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening to that video. I really hope this has helped you to study. I look forward to seeing you at my next event on the next video. And if you haven't already, get the deep dive and study with me in my daily coaching group.